Hey ODDA, my name is COURTNEY TROP. I live in LA. I'm happy to be here virtually with you guys from home. I have a fashion blog called Always Judging, and I just launched my CBD brand called Stevie. I woke up one morning in New York with 1 year of fashion school under my belt. I had moved when I was 18 from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to New York. And I realized after spending a year in New York that the city wasn't for me, and I wanted a life of wellness. I wanted fresh air. I wanted more space. I wanted nice weather. I never wanted to spend another winter in the snow since I grew up in snow. And I decided to move to LA overnight. And I ended up doing it like 3 months later, and I've been here for 13 years, and it's safe to say that I'm never leaving. My love for fashion started early. It started even before high school. All my sharpest memories from childhood is going to the mall with my mom and buying jellies, or I don't know, buying whatever we bought in the 90s, early 90s. But my personal style and expressing myself through style definitely peaked in high school. That's the only thing that I was interested in high school. I always say that fashion saved my life because it's something that kept me out of trouble and it kept me focused on something. Another thing I did in high school is I sold Mark Avon. So I had this little side business going on. Back then we had catalogs and we would bring them to school, and I mean, I was the only one doing it at the time, but I would bring this catalog to school and I would sell my friends Mark Avon makeup. It was like a makeup line for teens. So I had this little business going on. Instead of studying, I was selling Mark Avon to my friends. So I really stayed out of trouble. The only thing that I did get into in high school, every Friday before school, me and my friends would smoke weed before school. And thankfully my dad is he's kind of like an ex-hippie, and he smokes every day himself, so he kind of looked the other way, and I never got in trouble for that. Thanks, Dad. That's the worst thing that I ever did though in high school. I think being a fashion influencer has evolved into sharing deeper interests with your community than just fashion. I think fashion's one niche of my life, and I find that with my community, if I have something in common with them, like if we like the same designer or we have the same style and we like the same designers and what they stand for, we usually operate with a similar code of ethics. So then we realize we like the same music, or we like the same food, we want to go to the same places. I think that fashion was just the gateway to another world where you share all your interests and you find that community, I guess, within Instagram or on the internet. I think it's exactly the same. I mean, I don't think I know I'll run Stevie the same way as I ran Always Judging. I don't think that consumers want to see a CEO or a business owner that's too buttoned up. They want to feel like they can relate to it and like they're part of it. I like to be real with people. I want to create a community of people who use CBD to cope with if they can't sleep or anxiety or chronic pain, and I want them to all be able to come together and share their stories of how CBD has helped them along the way. This past fashion month, after 2 years of working on my brand, I finally launched I didn't launch Stevie, but I finally had the product ready. And I took it with me. I took it to Fashion Month, and I just every day I would put a couple bottles in my bag, and if I was sitting next to somebody at a show or at an event, you know, Fashion Month is really stressful for everybody. There's a lot of energy going on. People aren't getting enough sleep. Everyone's stressed out. So I kind of wanted to have a solution. Every time I would hear my friends upset, I'd want to like pull out my CBD and say, oh, take this, try this. So that's what I did. I had this little Prada bag. It was like a sack, and I would put a bunch of CBD in it every day and just hand it out to my friends. And I know it helps me with social anxiety. If I have cramps during Fashion Month, it's over. I can't get out of bed for a day or two. So I just extended my knowledge and shared the love with my friends, and they loved it. It worked. I got great feedback. I don't honestly remember my first experience with CBD, but I do know that it was probably somewhat related to having really bad cramps. I get such bad cramps that it's crippling and I can't leave bed, like I've said, for a few days. And I just remember taking CBD, and I like how I like the idea that it doesn't eliminate the pain completely, it just makes it manageable. Because I think eliminating the pain completely, your body's trying to tell you something. I don't think that it's good to just take it all away. I think that the point is to make it manageable through something that's more natural. So I felt like CBD was a better option than taking a painkiller that's super strong and I don't know what's in it. I still want to feel like a human, and I wanted something that would just, like I said, make the pain more manageable. So whenever my Stevie consumers community, whenever they have their first CBD experience, I would like them to feel the same way. I would like them to feel like they're removing the pain and not numbing it completely. And I want them to recognize that it's working and it has power, but not feel like they're putting something toxic in their body. For me, I get really bad social anxiety, and I take cannabis and CBD to kind of relax my brain so it can work and I can speak. Going to events and stuff, I didn't grow up being around a lot of people, so sometimes I get really overwhelmed and I feel like my words don't come out right, and it's just because my brain isn't relaxed. So we've come up with this whole phrase, it's called up to something, because we want to break the negative stigma that people are stoned and not doing anything. In this case, it's that weed or cannabis or CBD is helping to relax their brain and their body so they can actually accomplish what they need to do without being anxious. I did this today. I made this video and I smoked before I made it because I would have such bad anxiety I wouldn't even be able to do something like this. So I'm up to something. I smoked or I took CBD and I'm doing something. I think that self-care, especially your mental state right now at home, is really important, and caring for yourself in that way. I wake up every morning without a plan. I listen to my body. Whatever I'm feeling in the moment, that's what I do. Some mornings I wake up and I decide that I'm gonna call my family and friends and catch up with loved ones that day. Other days I wake up and I decide that I need to do yoga or I need to do a face mask, or I don't know, do something for myself and for my body. Other days I wake up and I work on Stevie or Always Judging, and then something else I've been doing lately is I've been taking psilocybin mushrooms a lot. They make me really creative. I like taking them by myself in my backyard. I actually came up with all the ideas for Stevie while doing mushrooms. I think that they opened my mind to new things, and I notice in the days after I take them, I'm just a more pleasant person to be around, and I'm happier, and my brain feels clearer. The next thing that we have coming out for Stevie is 100% vegan edible gummies. We're doing body salve for muscle pain. We're doing a candle. It's going to be called Venus. And we're going to be doing CBD pre-rolls. So that's what's next for Stevie. As far as CBD as a whole, in a broader term, I think that the most important thing is educating people right now. I think that even though we're seeing these CBD brands, cannabis shops pop up everywhere, and we're hearing more people talk about it, I think that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in educating people and making them feel normal about taking it. in fashion, you know, there's people around me in fashion that are taking CBD and even smoking cannabis right now, but they're not talking about it because they don't understand it right now, and it's not normalized. So I think the work is just making people feel like it's normal to want to go a different route than taking a prescription pill. People are taking CBD and cannabis, and I think that it should be completely normal, and we should end any kind of negative, like I said before, negative stigma against cannabis and CBD. Anyway, that's what's next for Stevie. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me today. ODDA, thank you for having me, and I hope that everyone is staying safe at home.